why do women stay in abusive relationships, especially if they know that their partner is abusive? Like, why do they do that? Because of the trauma bond. So, if you've not heard of the trauma bond is developed by a series of contributing factors, but it's mainly, in short, about a cycle of abuse which causes the victim to become more attached to their abuser, which can even cause them to even sympathize, have sympathy or even affection for their abuser. So how the hell does that happen? You know, so it all starts with the abusive man having this fake love, fake highs of emotion. Like, they can tell their victim that they are absolutely amazing, and they love this, and they'll become attached on this, and become dependent on this. And once there's a dependency that's been met, the abuser will be highly aware of this, and then they will just drop, literally just drop the victim. And the victim's like, oh my God, how do I get this back? How do I get this back to the high, like back to the niceness? And so they will do anything and everything they can in their power to try and please the man. But these expectations will keep going higher and higher. And what happens is, the abuser will then end up just dropping in the abuse as and when they feel like it. And there'll just be a flip of a switch whenever they want. And so what happens is the victim is then all of a sudden in shock, because she's dealing with what the hell has just happened. There's a situation that's just occurred out of nowhere. Then she's also dealing with the actual abuse that's happened to her, whether that be verbal, physical, whatever that may be. And then she's also dealing with just trying to figure out what's happened in the whole situation in itself, and how the abuser has just behaved, because it wouldn't make sense, because they've just done it out of nowhere. So there's a lot there to contend with, just the fear of what's happened, trying to figure out what's happened, and figure out the whole situation and what the abuser has done. And so that is enough to throw someone into a state of literally a state of survival. And what that means is, when you go into kind of survival mode, your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, go high, and they either stay constantly high, or they can be intermittently high. And when your cortisol levels go high and you're in this survival mode, it causes us to not think so logically with our thinking. So we don't think logically, and our decision making can also be potentially affected as well. So when we're in this phase of like, oh my God, what's just happened? I'm in shock. What's going on? How did he switch? What did I miss? I literally turned my back for a second, and then the abuser will come in and be like, you did this. This is your fault. You made me feel like this. And then can even fake emotions, they can even start crying. They're very persuasive, very manipulative. But you're in this state of, oh my God, what's going on? Cortisol levels going high. I can't make a logical decision. Someone's saying it's all my fault. I am much more likely then to accept the blame when my cortisol levels are high. So it's actually very clever. It's a very clever system. Very clever system. So imagine that. So this is the trauma bond. So we accept fault, and then we're like, oh my days, this is my fault. How can I fix this? And then we might even feel bad. And then we can do a couple of things. We can look to our abuser to be our rescuer, to soothe our pain that we're feeling of guilt, or shock, or anger, or hurt, or pain, or upset. And so what happens is this pain pleasure feedback loop, where the abuser is the perpetrator and also the rescuer at the same time, and the victim has no idea. She has no idea this is happening, like literally no idea. So because she doesn't know, sometimes in some cases the victim doesn't know that the abuser is actually, what he's doing is abuse. So that can happen, and when obviously the victim is blamed, we can then create sympathy and affection for the abuser. So that's, in short, hopefully explains the trauma bond, and kind of the victim going into survival mode and being disassociated with her feelings, and how she ends up believing that everything is her fault, and also how she ends up feeling closer, because having all of this going on can create a need to want the abuser even more, to soothe the pain. And that's massive. That's very important. So it creates this dependency. It creates a dependency on the abuser. And that is why women then don't tend to leave, because they feel this closeness that they perhaps haven't felt with a non-abusive partner in the past. So they feel like, this person's my soulmate, I feel so close to them, all of this stuff, which is totally understandable. But these are the reasons why. It's because we've just had all of this stuff thrown at us. So hopefully that explains the trauma bond. If you'd like any more information, please contact me on my Instagram page, which you can find me at Connecting Women Together with a number 2. And it's also in the description below. And yeah, please feel free to watch any of the other videos on any of the topics if it's of interest to you. But I would love it if you could share this. I'm sure there's someone out there that you know that probably needs to hear about this, that has gone through something. So please do share it with them. Do your bit for the world and contribute to society, and share this video as much as you can to help as many people as possible. And if you have been affected and you would like to reach out, I've popped some numbers in the description below, national helpline numbers that you can call to help yourself if you do need to escape a domestic violent relationship. I hope that helps. If you do require anything else, please do get in touch, and please do like and subscribe. Keep smiling at the person in the mirror.